There's a perceptual trick that theatrical set designers have used for centuries. When you want a stage to look deeper than it actually is, you make the back of the set narrower than the front. The human eye interprets the narrowing as distance. The brain calculates. Things look smaller when they're further away, so a narrowing space must be getting further away, even when it isn't. It's called forced perspective, and it works on audiences every single time. Now, what if you built a Barndominium using that same principle? What if the floor plan was wide at the entry end and narrower at the back, a trapezoid, so that the moment you stepped through the front door, your brain immediately calculated the room as deeper, longer, and larger than it actually is? And what if that illusion was so effective that a 1,400 square foot building felt spatially more generous than a standard 1,800 square foot rectangle? That's the trapezoidal Barndominium. And once you understand what it's doing to your perception, you'll never look at a rectangular floor plan quite the same way again. If you love the spatial psychology behind architectural design, subscribe to Barndominium Haven right now. Hit the bell, stay till the end, because the design mistake that kills the trapezoidal effect is more counterintuitive than you'd expect. And it's the thing most people do first when they start designing one. Let's get into it. Before we get into what the trapezoid does, let me talk about what actually makes a space feel larger than it is. Because size and perceived size are different things, and experienced architects have known this for a very long time. Perceived spaciousness is not a function of square footage. It's a function of three specific spatial variables. 1. Depth of view. How far your eye can travel from the point where you're standing before hitting a surface. 2. Ceiling height variation. Spaces with ceiling heights that vary across the floor plan feel larger than spaces with uniform ceilings of equivalent area. 3. Spatial direction. A space that has a clear direction, a sense of going somewhere, feels larger than a space that simply contains you, with no particular orientation. A rectangular room at 1,400 square feet addresses all three to a degree. But a trapezoidal room at 1,400 square feet, when oriented correctly, addresses all three more powerfully than the rectangle could ever manage. Here's how. The trapezoid's fundamental spatial contribution is directional. A rectangle has two equal axes. It's symmetrical. It doesn't pull you in any particular direction. A trapezoid has one wide end and one narrow end. That asymmetry creates a direction. The space is going somewhere, from wide to narrow, and your eye follows it. Your eye follows it because the human visual system is specifically calibrated to track convergence. Lines that meet in the distance tell your brain that you're looking at depth. Railroad tracks converging at the horizon. A long corridor where the walls appear to meet. A mountain valley narrowing in the distance. All of them trigger the same perceptual response. Your brain interprets the convergence as depth, as distance, as more space than is literally present. A trapezoidal room, wide at the entry, narrowing toward the far wall, presents exactly this convergence to anyone standing at the wide end and looking toward the narrow end. The two angled side walls converge. Your brain reads the convergence, and the room feels longer, deeper, and more spatially generous than its actual dimensions. Let me talk specifically about what happens at the wide end, because this is where the design decision has the most impact on daily life. The wide end of the trapezoid is the entry end, the face of the building you come home to, the face visitors see first, the face that establishes the building's first impression. At the wide end, let's say 40 feet wide on a building that narrows to 24 feet at the far end, you have 40 feet of front wall to work with. That's a generous floor-to-ceiling glazing opportunity. Windows spanning a significant portion of that 40-foot face. drawing your eye across the full width of the building the moment you enter, before the space narrows, creates the widest first impression possible for the building's total square footage. You enter at the widest point. You see the full width. Your brain calibrates the room based on that width. And then as you move deeper into the narrowing space, the room keeps feeling as wide as where you entered, because your initial calibration was based on the wide end. This is how museums and great civic spaces work. You enter through a grand space. The impression is set. And smaller spaces you enter afterward feel appropriately scaled, not cramped, because the initial spatial calibration was generous. The trapezoidal Barndominium gives you that effect at residential scale. Now let's talk about the depth perception from the inside, looking toward the narrow end. Standing at the wide entry end of a 40-foot to 24-foot trapezoidal Barndominium, looking toward the back, the two angled side walls converge from your left and right as your eye travels toward the far wall. That convergence, 8 feet of reduction on each side, tells your visual system that the room is significantly deeper than it is. In a building 50 feet deep, the perceived depth from the wide end is closer to 65 to 70 feet, based on the convergence angle and the brain's distance calibration mechanism. That's 15 to 20 feet of perceived depth added by geometry alone. No mirrors, no tricks, no expensive materials, just the angle of two walls doing what perspective has always done to the human visual system. I want to be honest, this is perceptual psychology, not a guarantee. Individual perception varies. Furniture placement affects it. Ceiling height affects it. But the directional principle is well established in environmental psychology research. Convergent spatial geometries consistently produce higher perceived depth estimates than parallel wall geometries of equivalent actual dimensions. The trapezoid works. My favorite feature, the narrow-end bedroom. Here's why. Every spatial argument I've made so far is about the wide end looking toward the narrow. But the narrow end has its own completely different spatial quality. And it's the quality that makes it perfect for the bedroom. Standing at the narrow end of the trapezoid, 24 feet wide, looking back toward the wide entry end, the space expands. The walls diverge away from you. The room appears to open up as you look toward it, which produces a spatial experience of being in a protected, contained zone, while looking out into a generous, open world beyond. That's exactly the spatial psychology of a great bedroom. You want to feel sheltered where you sleep, and you want to feel connected to space larger than the room you're in. The narrow end of a trapezoidal Barndominium gives you both, simultaneously, without a partition wall, without a room divider, without any architectural element other than the geometry that was already there. The bedroom belongs at the narrow end. The social spaces belong at the wide end. The trapezoid is telling you the floor plan. Listen to it. The mistake, putting the entry at the narrow end. I know, it sometimes makes sense from a site planning perspective. The driveway approaches from one direction. The road is on one side. The natural entry is at the narrow end. Don't do it. Here's why. The entire perceived size advantage of the trapezoidal Barndominium depends on the occupant entering at the wide end and looking toward the narrow. If you flip the orientation, entry at the narrow end, far wall at the wide end, the convergence effect reverses. Your eye enters the space at the narrowest point, calibrates the room based on 24 feet of width, and as you move deeper, the space expands. Which sounds like it should feel generous. It doesn't, because entering a narrow space that opens up produces a sense of spatial relief, not spatial generosity. The room felt tight when you entered it. It got better, but the first impression was constriction. Enter at the wide end, first impression is expansion. Enter at the narrow end, first impression is constriction, followed by relief. One of those experiences makes you feel like the building is bigger than it is. The other makes you feel like you got away with something. The site plan has to accommodate the wide-end entry. If it can't, reconsider the orientation of the building on the site. This is the decision worth getting right. Real numbers. 2026 mid-cost markets. Trapezoidal Barndominium. Wide end 40 feet. Narrow end 24 feet. 50 feet deep. Approximately 1,600 square feet. 2 bedrooms at the narrow end. 2 bathrooms. Open kitchen and living at the wide end. Steel kit. 2 parallel end walls of different widths. 2 angled side walls. Angled corner connections. $34,000 to $52,000. The angled connections add cost over a rectangular kit. Real and non-negotiable. Structural engineering. $3,500 to $6,500. Foundation. Trapezoidal perimeter slab. $14,000. Closed cell spray foam. $18,000 to $26,000. Wide end glazing. Invest in this. It's the feature that makes the entry experience everything the spatial psychology promises. $12,000 to $20,000. Plumbing. $10,500 to $15,000. Electrical. $8,500 to $13,000. HVAC. 2-zone. $7,000 to $11,000. Septic. $9,500 to $14,000. Well, $8,500 to $12,000. Windows and doors. $7,000 to $11,000. Interior finishes, $22,000 to $34,000. Contingency, 15%, $22,000 to $34,000. Total realistic build cost, $176,000 to $269,500 fully finished. Mid-cost U.S. market, 2026. Per square foot, approximately $110 to $168. Competitive with a standard rectangular Barndominium of equivalent square footage, with the spatial perception advantage built into the geometry, at no additional cost beyond the angled connections. You're not paying for perceived size, you're paying for a building, and the perceived size comes with the shape. Here's what I love most about the trapezoidal Barndominium. And it's not the spatial illusion, it's the honesty of it. The trapezoid doesn't feel bigger because of expensive materials, not because of high-end finishes, not because of clever decorating tricks. It feels bigger because of geometry. Because 2 walls that converge, instead of running parallel, do something to human perception that parallel walls simply can't. And that geometric advantage costs approximately $8,000 to $15,000 more than a rectangular kit of the same square footage. That's the premium for perceived size. That's what it costs to enter a 1,600 square foot building that feels like 2,200 square feet. In 2026, where every square foot of conditioned space costs between $120 and $185 to build, getting 600 square feet of perceived space for $8,000 to $15,000 is one of the most efficient architectural investments I've encountered in residential design. The trapezoid isn't bigger. It just feels that way. And in a home, how a space feels is every bit as real as how a space measures. Subscribe to Barndominium Haven. Tell me in the comments, does the spatial psychology argument change how you think about floor plan shape? I want to know, and I'll see you in the next one.